Hey everybody, it's Max McAllister here. So since I did my gardening videos, a lot of you have been asking me about the status of my garden. So normally my videos are educational and I help teach people things, how to do stuff. But since my wife and I are complete noobs at gardening and everything we do is kind of trial and error and just a disaster. So we're out on YouTube trying to learn from people who know how to garden. And it turns out if you get involved in gardening at all, everybody around you loves gardening and they're into it. It's like this whole undercurrent of gardeners that you don't know about. But as soon as you mention the word garden or say I'm trying to grow something, all of a sudden everybody pops up and they know somebody or they got experience or, oh, grandma took me to the garden so many times that she made me work so hard. So we've got kids around us that say we're tired of gardening because grandma beat us to death in the garden, so it's funny. But anyway, so come look at all our garden now because it's going crazy. And there will be no old people torturing children here in this garden, just so you guys know. But we have food everywhere. And my wife, when I started building this, she's been doing all of the learning and training about how to grow and what to do, while I did the construction and the irrigation and the kind of the mechanical stuff, the hands guy, the construction guy stuff. My wife did the learning how to plant. So
And
now
learning
it's
what not to do.
learning what not to do, or as best we could. But so the joke is, she's like, what am I going to do? We need like 2 of these things. We don't need 16 beds. Well, we ended up with 18 beds total. But so now, as of today, up on our garden, we have like a herb deck, an herb box on our deck. I'm sorry. And now we have so much food growing that we don't know what to do with it. So we're figuring it out. We're actually getting to eat food that we've grown out of our own garden. And with all jokes aside, it really does taste better than food we buy in the store. So we're really enjoying this. So come take a look at what all we got. We had bad luck with radishes, and what we learned about radishes is once you plant the seeds, you actually have to go in and thin them out significantly, and we didn't know to do that. So we had tons of beautiful green leaves, and they were all just basically radish sprouts because they were bunched up tight. And so when you do that, only the root grows, and then the leaves grow to get light, and the bulb never starts, so you don't get a radish. So we gave up on them. We got 4 or 5 radishes. We ate them. We enjoyed them. So we have new stuff, and we've learned to space our stuff better.
Cucumber in there right now.
And then, so this is lettuce, and we've been eating this for 2 weeks. So we're actually, the damage you see is actually caused by humans, not by pests. So, and then in the interim, we keep having these frosts here that keep tearing things up here in Georgia. And but in the interim, we have a little grow shelf that we built. It's like 5 tiers, and then we use these LED full spectrum lights. And so we're growing our own pre-sprouted vegetables in our house, and then carry them outside and put them into the garden as they mature. And so some of what you see here, my wife has grown. These are tomatoes plants that she has grown inside on our little grow shelves, which is pretty cool.
It'll just be tomatoes.
And then, so this is spinach we're about to harvest. We've got garlic. And these are new.
Radishes.
These are daikon radishes. So I love daikon, and so we're looking forward to that. This is something Tammy and I just worked on today. These are self-wicking, water-feeding planters for our tomatoes. So this is a bucket with that has water in the bottom and a spacer that's holding up a shelf, and the dirt sits on a shelf, and then on top of the shelf is a t-shirt, just a plain cotton t-shirt that's pushed down into the water that serves as a wick, and then you put the dirt on that, and then you pour water in this tube and you fill it, and then you drill a hole just below the level of your shelf so the water bleeds out and it never overfills, and it's just kind of at the right level. So the t-shirt will wick water up into the dirt, and you can go several days without any human attendance and make sure the tomato plant is always hydrated. So kind of a cool thing. So we built 10 of those today, and we got them going together. The let's see, down here we have green beans which got killed by a frost 2 weeks ago. So we had green beans going good, but one frost and everything was dead. And this is a different type of lettuce that we got to harvest. And then we have giant sunflowers going in here.
Cantaloupe and watermelon. Right
Cantaloupe,
here.
watermelon, and giant sunflowers. But
Giant
something has taken to, it just bites the sunflowers. He grabs them at the stem, bites them, chops them over, and kills them. And we don't know what that is, so we got to figure that out. Back to battling nature. So we got some tomato plants going. This is asparagus. Now, apparently you plant your asparagus, it grows, you do nothing with it. It takes a couple of years, you let it cycle several times, and it starts, before it starts producing proper asparagus. So we'll learn about that. We're learning about that as we go. Now, we did alternating potatoes and strawberries, but our potatoes went so wild, they were suffocating our strawberries. And so I went in and I tried to cut pathways through our potatoes so that our strawberries would see daylight. But how cool is this? We've got these strawberries. We're gonna harvest these tonight. But this is so perfect. It looks like it came, like a computer made it, but nature made that. Isn't that awesome? So we're gonna bring these in tonight. My wife's mad because she likes strawberries, and she's like, I don't want 4 strawberries. I want 4 buckets full.
I'm learning the hard way, not to plant the potatoes and the strawberries next to each other.
So apparently the potatoes, you wait until you see them flower, and then after they flower, then the foliage dies, and once the foliage dies, then you harvest the potatoes. So that's what we know about that at this moment. But we do got lots of strawberries around, and I'm going to try and make sure they do see daylight, sunlight on them as they go over time. And then let's go down here and see what we got. All right, so now normally I'm the educator, but now I'm going to ask for the world of YouTube's help.
That's down further.
Oh, we're going to get to that. So we've got carrots, which are working. We think we had them too dense. We keep thinning them, but they're growing. And you just transplanted squash and zucchini. A couple of the frames I built, we don't have mesh over. We're just, it's a lot of work. This is like, we work at this a lot, actually. So, but here's where we need the help of gardeners on YouTube. So this is our Brussels sprouts. Now, we had broccoli that got just mauled by some creature, which we don't know. And the creature just came and ate it all and took it away. Beautiful broccoli plants. They already had like, the vegetable forming in the center of it.
Oh yeah, the flower, it was already
and it was already, we had little tiny baby cauliflowers. But so these are supposed to be Brussels sprouts, and we think that, and they don't seem to be doing anything. And there's a word, what do you call the word?
Bolting, I believe.
Bolting.
I don't know.
It seems that something has...
Too warm. Maybe we did plant them late for Brussels sprouts, later in the season, because they are a cool season crop. But they seem to be not forming the actual sprouts, and I believe that's bolting. But if you know something about it, tell us.
If you guys know something, tell us. But these, I don't see Brussels sprouts anywhere. But then we have these giant green plants, but they're apparently, if they're not going to do anything, somebody tell us so that we can rip these things out. And we have so many sprouted starter vegetables, peppers and everything that we need space. So if these aren't going to turn into plants, somebody tell me. But then my wife's absolute favorite is sugar snap peas. And these things are out of control. I want to show you, well, I'm going to show you something in a minute, but we'll go around and I'm going to show them the other way in a minute. Actually, here, you can kind of see it from here. So my house is here. Oh, you can actually, if you turn around, you can see the grow lights up in the yoga room. We have a yoga room in our house. So, but there's the grow lights. But so there's shade here for several hours a day. These plants freaking turned left, right? And are reaching out, trying to get to the daylight. Like they want the sun as much as possible. So we didn't do this. Here, look at the bend. These things turned left. It's unbelievable. So we had to put a brace under them to support the weight of them because they were starting to look here showing this. They were breaking over under their own weight because they're so heavy. And so we've got tons of sugar snap peas going, and we're stoked about this. We've got
two different types of raspberries.
Two different types. We have golden and red raspberries, and those bushes have taken off and they're doing great. And well,
this one was a stick when we got it.
it was just a
literally
twig.
stick.
It was just a twig. I don't even know. Look at that. It's interesting.
Oh, that's actually one of the sugar snap peas.
That was something else. But so this is our little native beehive, which is super cool. Native bees come here and lay their eggs, and then you pull this in late fall and keep it where sheltered, not necessarily inside your house, but in a garage or someplace sheltered. Put it back out in the spring, and then the bees will be born. They'll come out, fly around. They'll help pollinate your garden, and they keep returning to this hive after year. So somebody's figured this out. It's pretty cool. So we got a couple of these in our garden, and so this is what's going on. As you can see, we've gone from 0 to, I wouldn't call it hero yet, but we're definitely got vegetables, and
Some green things.
we were able to actually eat our own food that we made, and that's really super cool. That was the whole goal. Is you know, we you never know the condition of the world these days, and one day you might walk in the store and not be able to buy food, and you're not going to be able to learn to grow food fast enough to save your own life. So this is an exercise in us beginning to understand and know the basics of how people lived not that long ago. 100, 150 years ago, all people had to do was, kill an animal, catch a fish, get water, have a fire, and grow some vegetables, and that was life. That was all you had to do to stay alive. You weren't really worried about whether your television was connected to the Wi-Fi, and you called tech support because your router was just malfunctioning with your remote control. And the life we live is so dystopian from where we used to live, where humans used to live. So anyway, this is fun. We're really enjoying it, and my wife is apparently pretty good at it. So I
don't know. All you Brussels sprout experts, give us some advice.
Tell us what to do with our Brussels sprouts. We need your help. So anyway, I'm Max. This is not educational and not really part of my normal channel, but just a good fun video that my fans have been asking me, how's your garden? So now you know. All right.